Hello and welcome to another episode of Tales from a Professional Nerd. My name is BryanCPSteele. I will be your nerd today and any other day that you watch one of my silly little shows. Hello, I know it's been 2 weeks for some of you. For those of you who maybe are watching back videos or maybe have only just recently found my channel, hello. It's only been a couple of seconds. Regardless to any of that, let's go ahead and jump into A Week in Bryan, and then we can move into the topic at hand. So let's start with the hard stuff, and that is personal stuff. So I had, at Origins last weekend, this the weekend that just passed, I realized that I really felt like I was out of shape. Like, I've mentioned before that I needed to get back on the diet. I needed to start getting back to the gym and that kind of stuff. But I didn't really know that had to happen. Like it was an emergency until it Origins. I had issues sleeping in the soft bed. I had, despite my new CPAP machine, which by the way is going well. I had issues with the bed. There were too many pillows. It was too soft. My sciatica was acting up. I was only like maybe 2 blocks away from the convention center, and walking back and forth, my legs were on fire. Carrying my stuff, my miniatures from the booth back to the car, I was, my arms were rubbery, and I mean it was just really rough, and it hit me in a way that I was like, I know that I've put on a lot of my weight that I lost last year, and I need to get back to fixing that. But it wasn't until I got home and I bought a brand new fancy scale to kind of help monitor my weight loss. Because the old scale that I had, it's got a couple of cracks in it. It had, it's been knocked up against something, so there's a chip in it, and one of the feet doesn't look like it sits right, and it obviously had some issues because readings that would come back from would vary wildly from one day to the next, or if you put it a foot further away from the door when you put it down, it would gain 5 pounds. It was just very weird. It was obviously had problems. So I bought a brand new one, and when I got back from Origins, I put it to use, and came to the shocking realization of the 60 pounds that I lost last year while I was, trying to get everything under control. I managed to put 55 of it back on. This was a shock. I knew that I had put some weight back on, but I did not realize it was that much. Combine that with the fact that I'm sleeping more because the CPAP machine, all that extra weight has made a lot of my joints stiff. I wake up in the morning and I hurt. I needed to do something about it. So I have been very focused, trying to, for the last week, I've been very, or for at least the last 5 days, I've been very focused, making sure I don't snack on things I'm not supposed to snack on, trying to cut down on soda, just in general, just kind of trying to take care of myself, and I hope that it's helping. The scale says that that I've lost a couple of pounds since I got back on Sunday. But that being said, some of that could just be water gain. You never know. A couple of pounds here and there might just be the time of day. So let's just keep our fingers crossed, and that it is actual weight loss, and it's the kind of the jump start to getting me back on track. Apart from that, everybody's healthy. Natalie got over her bronchitis. The haze outside, the air quality is not great, which has caused my kids tennis team stuff to be sporadic, and he's taking summer PE, so they only can go outside for a little a little while. It's nuts. It's nuts. But in all honesty, I'm glad that I hate to say it, I'm glad that it's happening now and not during Origins. Because a lot of that walking was outside. There was a lot of stuff that took place outside. If everything was that nasty haze then, it would have been pretty rough. All right, so that's pretty much it for personal. Let's do gaming. I played some games at Origins. I not a lot, but I played a little. Did some demos for Warzone, as expected. But I think the big thing is last night I was supposed to play D&D, but it got canceled because of some scheduling snafu weirdness. And I think this weekend I'm supposed to play again. I'm not 100% sure. I know one of my buddies is having a barbecue where he's inviting people over to play games and eat meat and things. So that should be fun for a little while to go over there for some hours and kind of get away from it all. Yeah, I think that's really it. Still playing a lot of Valheim on Xbox with my buddy. Turns out grown up Minecraft is pretty cool. Let's see. Anything else? I think that's it. That's it. With Origins, things have been kind of, I don't want to say boring, but it's been, just normal days in the life. Work-wise, so I need to take another day to focus on getting words on the novel, on the Shadowrun book. Warzone is progressing wonderfully. I've got some secret writing that I need to get done for one of the projects that we're setting up for the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter backer kit is not open yet to accept late backers and things, but it should be in the at least sometime in July. Our hopes are to get it open and accessible by mid-July, because that way we can bring in late backers and things at Gen Con. We can bring in late backers through all the various social media, plus the people that we actually talk to at Origins, people who signed up and that sort of thing. So that'll hopefully be relatively soon. And then it's down to us, assembling that final rules document and getting everything. We are so close to being able to just go, all right, this is it, it's ready. And then it's just all about putting together the cool products and the minis. So it's pretty cool there. My Evil Genius situation has been great. It's been awesome. Origins was a weird show. I'll talk about that in a minute because I was there for a different company. I was there with a different product or project, but I still got to hang out with the Evil Genius guys and gals to help out and kind of get some FaceTime in with them. But this whole executive producer thing has been pretty cool, and it looks to be like it continues to be cool. I am learning a great deal. I am also finding out that there are a lot of things that happen behind the scenes with licensed properties that I only tangentially knew before, and now that I'm closer to the center mark on this, it's interesting to see these things. Interesting. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, so I've been working on a lot of Pacific Rim stuff. The Kickstarter ended, and we are moving forward on several projects at once. That is really it's taken most of my focus. I've got a few other ideas and irons in the fire that I'm hoping that my boss is cool with, and I've got all kinds of little duties to take care of on the day-to-day. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how things are going. I wish I had a little more time to actually write and create rather than constantly manage. But I do get to write and create, but I also get to make sure that the writers and developers and things that are on my team are creating what I would want, what I would like them to create. So I am still getting to orchestrate, the overall product as it stands. Yeah. So I think that's it for the weekend, Brian. I mean, I hate to be like, man, boring, but it is what it is. And part of that is because of Origins. Origins was a blast. We had a great time. My Origins was very weird because while I'm an executive producer over at Evil Genius Gaming, while I'm over at Evil Genius Games, and they had a very big, very awesome booth at the show. I had told Alex that I was going to help him with the Warzone booth, and part of the only reason why we created that we got the Warzone booth is because we were going to be able to man it correctly. So this was a show where I let my Evil Genius boss know that while I'm there, I'm not there except when I come over to help. It was weird. It was definitely weird. But that being said, from a Warzone perspective of things, we had a great time. We showed people for the first 2 days we had demos with Capital and Imperial, and people seem to have a good time. A lot of people, they see the Martian Banshee and they're like, "Oh my God, Martian Banshees!" It was neat because we saw a lot of nostalgia in a lot of these people's eyes. There were a lot of people that walked by the booth, saw the banner, and was like, "Warzone! I used to play this back in the '90s." And it's like, different game, same setting. That kind of thing. New models, new setting, or new models, new game. So there were several people that looked at it, tried it out, that already kind of knew what was going on, and a testament to us creating a game that still had that first edition, that still has that first edition feel, first/second edition feel, is several people who used to play the old game got into a demo, and within a couple of activations understood the system, understood how it worked. They knew what they needed to do. They might need to ask a couple of questions about some of the changes, but overall they were like, this feels a lot like the old game. So that's a big plus. That's what we were shooting for, and that seems to be what we have achieved. We had a lot of people comment on the models. We had 5 of the 7 starter boxes in the case painted, professionally painted. So that was cool. So people got to see those. Alex and I had lots of talks about cool things that we were going to be doing in the future. There's one particular style of release, style of like thing that we want to put out, product that I've never seen before, and I've never it's a neat idea, and I hope that we have the ability to do it going forward once we get all the Kickstarter stuff taken care of, because I think it'll be pretty cool. I'm excited about that. Also figured out while I was at Origins, figured out that when it comes around in the spring, Adepticon, I am really only going to be able to do 2 days of Adepticon because it's the same weekend as GaryCon again, and GaryCon is very big for my regular job, my Evil Genius job. So I'm going to have to split my convention vacation that weekend between both places. It could be worse, but I really wish they would move them on different weekends. I really, really do. Yeah, so for Warzone-wise, that was pretty much it. Because we didn't have anything to sell. We got to talk to a lot of people. We got to, we signed up some new people to the Kickstarter page, the reminder thing. It was just a good time. In the second 2 days, we did Cybertronic versus Brotherhood on the demo table. So there was one guy who actually played the demo with the first 2 factions, and then when he saw there were new factions on the board, came by on Saturday and got another demo in to see the other factions played. It was cool. I like seeing that kind of excitement and, frankly, that kind of experimentation so they know what so they have a better feel of what they want to get into when it comes to actually choosing their factions for backers and stuff. Let's see what else. Obviously, yeah, I know I just got done talking about my diets and things, but at a show it's always hard to diet. I ate good at Origins. The food around Origins is always awesome. Yeah, they've got kind of a weird dungeon food court, and you can always get like Subway sandwiches out in the hallway. But if you're willing to walk a block, or perhaps less, the North Market is filled with amazing food. We went to the Happy Greek down the streets. I love. There's no question. I love food, and I love good food, and I love the whole like process of seeking out good restaurants or finding that one place that you like really well. And I've been to Origins and Columbus so many times that I do actually have some favorites. So it was nice to get to do those. I haven't been to Origins in a couple of years, so that was pretty cool. And I plan one way or the other to go back again next year, whether it is for Warzone or Evil Genius or a mix of both. We'll have to see. Time will tell. As far as Evil Genius goes, I got to meet a lot of my coworkers. I got to hang out with a couple of my fellow developers at the game area, which was it was cool, but it was also really weird because it was an open area, so players could just walk up. And there were several times that players would walk up and have a question, and I would, as the staff person at the table, I would answer. But I realized after like the second person who kind of gave me a weird squirrely look for giving them this like definitive answer was I was wearing my Res Nova shirt from the booth. I wasn't wearing any Evil Genius gear, so they had no reason to know, and my badge didn't even say Evil Genius on it. So they had no reason to know what I was saying, and I always had to back it up with, oh, by the way, I'm an executive producer at yada 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 yada. And I do think that even if I'm at a show where I'm at a show where I'm going to be repping a company, I need to make sure I have at least one shirt or maybe business cards on me or something that lends some credentials to my role and what I'm saying, because I did get a couple of weird looks from people that like, hey, what's with this weirdo who's telling me about these products, what does he have to say, or why does his voice mean anything? So I think I do need to get some business cards. I need to make it happen is really what it comes down to. But it was nice. I was able to get physical copies of the Everyday Heroes and all of our cinematic adventures that are currently out for print, or out in print. So that's pretty cool. I always like having physical copies. PDFs are fine to check resources and things, but I always love having actual books. I did manage to get a couple of things. I picked up. I already put them away, but I picked up a game. What's it called? I'm gonna look it up real quick. It was a cool word game. I happened to walk by, and I happened to walk by this lady's booth, and she's like, "Do you have time for a quick demo?" And I was like, "No." And she's like, "I'll give you." She's like, "Give me 1 minute, and I'll sell you on this game." And sure enough, in that 1 minute, I honestly did. I was like, "Okay, this is pretty cool." Oh, it's called Connected Clues. And it's a card game that basically you get a card and you get to describe the two things that are on it, and you have to create a connected sentence. So someone would be like, Tony Stark and Denzel Washington's Denzel Washington movie. and you'd go, oh, Iron Man on fire. So it was neat. It was a very cool concept, and of course there is a risque uncensored version on Kickstarter right now that I backed because while my kids are teenagers, the risque not safe for work version isn't that not safe for work. It's got some off-color humor in it, so that'll be fun. It'll be fun to play, and definitely fun to play with other friends. One of my buddies talked me into picking up Kabuto Sumo from All Play, which is it's a little wooden roll of cardboard like sumo ring that you have that's got different holes and tracks and things on it, and you put little wooden pieces on there that represent your sumo bugs, and you push each other until whoever is last. You basically trying to push your opponent out of the ring. It's cool. It's a very fun short little game. Nothing like super in depth or anything. And I managed to scrape up some convention specials while I was there. That was cool. I ran into my dear friend Brady Sadler. Of the Sadler brothers. They used to do a lot of game design and things, and they're local to me. Well, Brady published his first, the Acrid Sky, the book 1 of the Malice of Light. So it's his new series, and he was running around. I ran into him in the hallway, and he was like, "Hey, have you checked out my new book?" And I was like, "I have not." So he actually gave me a copy. So I will I hope to get a chance to read this relatively soon, and heck, maybe I'll do a review here on the channel. That would be cool, and that might be a nice little hat tip to him. While I was at the booth, one of my friends, colleagues, and I guess technically clients asked me. They're like, "Hey, did you see?" Or he's like, "Have you gotten your copy of Limitless NPCs too?" And I said, "No, I have not." So he swung one by. So this was something that I did. I did a handful of. Yeah, basically, he sent me the art for them, like the little bust piece of art. So like this is one of mine, Sir Ket Barrow. I was given this little piece of art and a very general description of what they want, that he is an ally. So the book contains, let's see, they're split into 4 sections. It is split into allies, contacts, foes, and merchants. And these are obvious. So allies are somebody who you may want to bring into your party. Contacts are people that you will go and contact, go and maybe do missions with, or contact, get a hold of them to try and get information out of them, or maybe they've got something special, or a special like a step along the way. Foes are your adversaries, and in fact the foes actually have, several of them have different versions of themselves. So like a weak version, a normal version, a slightly stronger version, like a kind of a, not epic version, but like a boss level version of each one of them. And then merchants. Merchants are people that you might run into that will have something cool on their person. And so I've got, I've got several of these characters in here, and so I was flipping through while I was at the booth, and there was no one there, during some downtime, and I started flipping through, and I forgot when I saw a character that I had created, and I was like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot that I did this. So this is Evelius Leodon, the Dusk Archer. He is a half-elf ranger, and he is based completely on my son's first D&D character. So I took a picture of it, and I sent the picture over to him. I texted it to him, and was like, hey, just so you know, Ivelios is now officially in a gaming book, in a product. People can play him, or play with him, or add him to your story. And I got the typical 15-year-old, cool. But then later, he actually did, ask to look through the book and ask to see his character. So, in his own way, he let me know that that was very cool. And I'm excited. There's a bunch of cool stuff in there. And for those of you who have watched my Spelljammer game, that the sadly was short lived here on the channel because life, COVID, and the like. There is also another character that you might recognize that I told Ben. I let Ben know that I added him, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, what is that book?" Because it's one of his favorite characters. I've seen him. He's made miniatures out of it. I'm just trying to find him now, and that is Grazok, the Pickle Baron, the Bugbear Pickle Baron from my Spelljammer game. So yeah, I'm very, very happy that I got to put those little hat tips to people who have touched my life in role playing ways. Please hold. My dogs are apparently trying to murder one another. I'll be right back. So, it just wouldn't be a day at the Steele household if you didn't have to pry the remains of a small rodent of some kind, I think, from the jaws of 2 of my 3 dogs. But thank you. We're back now. Okay. So, where was I? Origins? Yeah. So I got this Limitless NPCs. This is from the Limitless Adventures people. The actual name of their company, of Andy's company, I believe is Limitless Adventures. But I need to verify that for sure. It is, yes, limitlessadventures.com, and I'll go ahead and put the link up to this. If it's obviously it's a 5e product, but it has just got a bunch of stories, characters. There's a handful of treasure pieces and items and some spells and things, some neat stuff in here to add to your games. But more than anything, it is just everybody's had one of those adventures where your players go off the rails, or that they suddenly they're like, oh hey, let's go to insert random tavern and let's find something to do, or let's say that you just need a filler adventure because one of your players isn't going to make it that night. Is that you could go, okay, let's go to, here we go. We'll go to Daedra Shirk, Unrivaled Thief. Oh, that's a foe. Let's do a contact. Here we go. Glizzy Sparkleshine, Animal Trainer. It's a contact. So, and it says there's always a little bit of like fluff sentence, an introduction to the character as a whole. It says the gnome moves about the yard with the confidence and power of being thrice her size. The horses seem to calm down immediately and move into the barn in a single file line. And then it gives her stats. She is a chaotic good gnome. Relatively low power, only 4 hit points. I mean, like she's not like there to be a big fighter. But it says Glizzy is an animal trainer and can be placed in a settlement of any size. She can help the party train or domesticate a mount, familiar, or other animal companion. She has her treasure, which she carries 7 copper pieces, 15 silver pieces, 3 gold pieces, and 1 potion of animal friendship. And then, so if you do, let's say you do a task with her, or you talk to her, and it says further adventure. The party finds an egg and needs Glizzy's help identifying and hatching it. Ellipse, ... Glizzy needs assistance breaking a fiendish horse once ridden by a death knight. ... Glizzy needs special oats and clover from the blessed fields in Elysium. dot dot dot. And then if you chose to do that second one, that Fiendish Warhorse, there's actually stats for the Fiendish Warhorse. So like it's just a little not huge deep. It's not gonna be like the center point of your campaign, but it gives you something to throw in right in the middle. And there's we've got tieflings and humans, and there's actually even Days Light Guardian. She is a seer, but she is a celestial. She's actually not even. She was human once, but now she's become a higher being. There's dragonborn and kobolds, and it's a really cool. Not really cool concept of a book, and a really cool way to have random stuff at your fingertips. And I think that's actually kind of the strength of the Limitless Adventures guys. Almost all their books are, this is Limitless NPCs Volume 2. Volume 1 was just as cool. It is a way to have official, statted out cool stuff at your fingertips without spending a fortune. So I'm gonna put the link in the description so you guys can go check them out. But you should absolutely get this book. And if you do, email Andy and let him know that I sent you. Yeah, what else? While I was there, I did some shopping. I was not there to fill the larder, so to speak, full of game stuff. Not to mention, Gen Con is right around the corner, and I know that's going to be. I'm sure that's going to be one that I go, ooh, one of those. But yeah, so that was more or less Origins in a nutshell. I managed to, like I said, I did manage to see my Evil Genius family and meet a lot of them, and talk some things over with them. I know that our organized play system over there for volunteers and game masters and stuff is starting to come together. It's starting to take shape, which is awesome, and I hope that it becomes as big as it should be, and that it spreads Everyday Heroes and our various cinematic adventures far and wide. Obviously, it goes without saying that you, as fans of the show, should totally check it out. And I will put Evil Genius's website in the description of this video so you guys can go check it out. Although I may need to wait until next week. We are in the middle of launching a new website, like new fancy with graphics and new graphics and all that kind of stuff. So you may want to wait until I get the new address for that. Or I'll put the new address in the video knowing that it's going to go live sooner rather than later. Apart from that, Origins was just a really good show. It was a good time. Got to see a lot of people, got to see some people that I haven't seen in years. And it was just nice to see gamers being gamers. A lot of people enjoying each other's company, playing games. I got to talk to some people that were coming out of some of the events and asking them how they were doing, and it was just really rad. My look back at it is, if you get a chance to go to Origins, Origins is a great show. It's a great show that is big enough to have a lot of cool stuff in it, but not so big that you feel like you are drowning. That you're drowning in crowds. It's busy, but it's not like so busy that you get overwhelmed. It's just a really nice show. I do hope that next year we get back some of the big stores, or some of the big companies, some of the big boxes that weren't there this year. Catalyst wasn't there, Wizards of the Coast wasn't there, WizKids wasn't there, Privateer wasn't there. I mean, like there were a lot of companies that normally go to Origins that did not go this year. They filled their spaces with lots of really, really cool booths, but the presence of those larger kind of tentpole companies was missed. It was definitely like you could feel their absence. So I'm hoping that maybe they'll turn it around next year when they see that. I think they said final attendance on Saturday was something like in the neighborhood of like almost 14,000 people, which is awesome for Origins. That's a great number. So yeah, that's basically what I got for their Origins. Was a good show. You should totally go next year. My next show is Gen Con. Next week, I hopefully will have a cool review. I am talking to somebody about trying to do an unboxing, and also be able to talk about this month's comment raffle winner after this episode. So next week we'll have a comment raffle winner. So without further ado, I hope everyone's having a great day. Try and be safe, wear a mask if you have to, vaccinate, wash your hands, you know how it goes. Just really try and make sure that everywhere you go is a little happier than when you got there, and play some games. We'll see you next week.